This morning I decided to go further east than where we were yesterday. I had an inkling there was a track down near one of the little camp areas that I'd been to a long time ago.
First thing we did, Nick had seen a hut on the map and wanted to check it out, so we all followed him up to it.
When you think of a hut, you think of Victorian high country, you think of some of those places. Up in the New England, there's some awesome huts up in there. This was more like a bomb shelter gone wrong.
I've seen many huts over the years and it's definitely not one I'd want to be staying in overnight.
It was quite tiny and there was this old soiled mattress.
Looks pretty sanitary.
I definitely was not going into that hut.
Pretty well equipped, it had a mattress inside, not that I'd be sleeping on it.
Ventilation, really.
A couple of holes in the roof, it was well camouflaged, kind of unique as to the type of hut that it was.
What more would you want?
I'm actually surprised this hut was marked as a hut on a map. Well, I wonder if there was some other hut here that actually burnt down and there's not much of a hut there, is there?
No, not really, by the looks of it.
Nick seemed pretty excited at the time. When we got there, I don't know how excited he was.
Very exhilarating experience seeing that.
And the facilities over here are fantastic.
Yep.
And there was some facilities as well. There was a nice open air dunny.
There was no surroundings. It reminded me of the toilet from Jurassic Park, where the big T-Rex comes down and takes the man straight off the top. Simon was nice enough to pose for a couple of snapshots on that one.
At least they take these, though.
I haven't got NBN, look. We haven't even got it at home.
Plenty of facilities.
Everywhere you go in your four-wheel drive, one thing you need is fuel. And on trips away, you could be filling up from various locations. Now, you don't know how clean that diesel is, so we have a first line of defense, a pre-filter kit. The kit includes the filter head, a bowl, a filter and a replacement filter, and the fittings. They're available for most makes and models and they're easy to install. One of the questions we get asked all the time is, will this void my new car warranty? And the answer is no, it will not. If you fit this before the factory filter, this will not change any of the OEM setup. All it is adding another line of defense for your fuel system. There are many ways you can pick up contaminated fuel. This will give you the peace of mind and added protection against expensive repairs. This means more money for accessories, more time forward driving. Let's get back on the tracks.
Guys, here's one of these stumps I was talking about. Come down and have a look if you want.
No problem.
I love seeing the history like this out here. This gives you an indicator of how big the trees used to be, and it gives you also an indication of the age between when these were logged and how much these have grown since. So what the loggers would do, they'd come in all by hand, no machinery, no equipment. They'd cut out that letterbox there so they could slip a timber step in. They could then climb up high enough to cut the tree through at a thinner point and take the logs out. Most people drive past these, don't even
recognise it.
think they're probably a letterbox. It's worth stopping and having a look or taking a glance and yeah, pause for a photo. And it's all here in the Forest of Australia if you get out and explore.
So we headed down towards some beautiful scenic spots up to some lookouts.
We've been to some magnificent spots. We've checked out a couple of lookouts that were just magnificent.
The track that I thought was there, and that's when we sort of got to go and do some more exploring. This track that I was talking about, once we started down it, I wasn't quite sure if it was it or not. Within a couple of 100 metres, we got to cross a creek, and as soon as we did that, I knew it was back where we were all those years ago. I remember from last time it was pretty challenging. It was wet then, which made it a lot different to what it was today. One of the first areas we came up to, there was a couple of bog holes and there was a couple of different lines around. I picked the line around to the right that then crossed the mud, and that was pretty straightforward. In the cruiser, we got that across and got that parked out of the way. The next car to come through was the Isuzu, the Dmax, and it had been going really well today. We decided to take it through the flattest line possible and not cross it up because it doesn't have the suspension and the wheel travel and the stuff that the modified cars do.
Heading further along, we came up to a pretty muddy playground. Nick went one way and Simon had plans of where he wanted to send me. I think it was the easier route, and I was happy to go that way.
I know it doesn't look like it, but this is where I want to bring you through. The section over there to our right is a little bit chopped up, a little bit muddy. I think you might get stuck with those highway tyres. But through here, we've got a nice dry section. It's tight, it's narrow. We've got to watch out for that drop off there on the left. We've got to watch out for that tree, but I reckon you'll be right with a bit of guidance.
I hope you're right, Simon.
Let's give it a crack.
Let's go.
So just watch out for that puddle, and the tree. You'll be right.
I'll be doing my best.
I'll just swing over here and get your wheel.
All right, Nick, first gear, low range. Let's take it nice and easy. That's it, watch the seagull. Go, 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 go.
What'd you say at the start of the week?
What could possibly go wrong?
We've got the Dmax well and truly stuck. I reckon we might pull it out backwards.
We opted to have my vehicle at the end of the convoy. The last vehicle does need to be, fairly well equipped, just in case we had to do a recovery or turn around and go back. So yeah, it definitely pays to have a vehicle that is well set up at the back of the convoy.
If you don't have rated recovery points, the next best thing is a tow point. Never use the tongue or the ball, but you can go to the hitch receiver and use the pin the way we have set it up here.
At the end of the day, that's why we had Nick's 200 at the front, which is obviously very well equipped. We had the not so equipped Dmax in the middle, so if something did happen at either end, we were well and truly covered.
Simon had a go at guiding the Dmax through, and we had a couple of issues there. We couldn't get it through, so I could see what was happening and jumped in as trip leader and took over, and a couple of goes and a little bit more of a bump, and we got it over with no issues at all. So it was good to get that through. It was travelling really well.
So I tried to get through with Simon spotting me. Wasn't working out so great. We got Nick, the master of the trade. He got in, he did some spotting, and he got us out of there. He definitely knows his stuff.
Told you that's how we'd do it.
So yeah, now it's my second day into this, and it's been great. I feel really confident in the car. The car's been great to drive. I got good guidance. I got Simon and the ARB boys, Nick and Jimmy. So it's been a breeze. If there's any hiccups or any tough points, they've talked me through it, and we've made it through.
With the way that the vehicle's set up, it's pretty much handled everything that we've sort of encountered. Beautiful ride from the BP51 suspension that I've got fitted to it, to the under-vehicle protection, the recovery points that we've used as well. So definitely pays to have a vehicle that's equipped to handle this sort of stuff. So we headed into this muddy section. Nick went one way, which he made that look fairly easy.
The next car up was the Hilux with Jimmy behind the wheel. Tried to put him through the same line I went through, but it just didn't want to go.
I looked at Nick's line and thought, yeah, I'll handle that pretty easily. Did the same line. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out as planned. So at that point, had to get Nick to come back and give me a hand.
So here we are. There's several ways we could have got this vehicle out. We could have winched it, we could have strapped it, but this time we decided to use jack. The body of jack is made out of 6061 T6 aircraft grade aluminium. The shaft itself is nitride military spec. Both of these items are great for reducing corrosion, and they're both lighter. As you can see then, it's really easy to use. What we've done is lifted the car up really quickly. We're going to pack some logs under there, which will allow Jimmy to drive it straight out. The other beauty of recovering the vehicle this way is we're not doing any damage to the track. We're not pulling down a tree or something like that, trying to winch off it. It's really non-destructive. We're going to use something that was lying around to pack the vehicle up, and before you know it, we'll be out of here. Jimmy hasn't even got to get out of the car. We thought that's where the difficult stuff was going to end and the rest of the trip was going to be fairly straightforward. My memory served me wrong. It only got more interesting and more fun from there.
Nick apparently had been up there a couple of years ago, so I'm not too sure he was expecting what we came across.
We came up to some pretty gnarly sections, big ruts, big bog holes.
After we made it through the first section of mud, the mud kept coming and so did the ruts, and they kept getting bigger as well. So started to make things a little bit interesting from what started off being a fairly straightforward track. At the end of the day, we were sort of committed, so we pushed on and we were doing pretty well until one section.
I was sort of scratching my head wondering when someone else was going to jump in the driver's seat and take over, because it was definitely above my knowledge of four-wheel driving.
At one of the bog holes, there was a driver change. Nick, obviously a little bit inexperienced, swapped with Simon, and that's where things started to get a bit interesting.
I was glad that Simon yelled out and said, "I'll drive from here."
Is it? No, it's 20 minutes to get out.
We were stuck in a pretty bad section. It was pretty muddy and it was pretty bogged down.
After a couple of good but failed attempts, we all heard that noise that we all dread to hear. And bang, it was one of the CV shafts. So out came the snatch strap. On this particular trip, we've seen the track condition change quite a lot. When the tracks and conditions are changing so much, it definitely helps having a vehicle equipped with a bull bar. A bull bar offers you a whole lot more than just protection. The Summit bar has provisions for mounting driving lights, electric winches, and this particular bar is compatible with our recovery points. Very important, obviously, when you're in a bit of a sticky situation and you might be forced to do a recovery. The tapered multi-fold wing panel section, that's designed to increase the strength in the bar. Not only that, drastically increases the vehicle's approach angles. They're compatible with the vehicle's factory fitted parking sensors, totally airbag compatible. They can also be colour coded to complement your vehicle. And that's a benefit by fitting a bull bar. It's going to make your vehicle much more capable when you're tackling some of this uncertain terrain, because you can have these accessories just in case. The plan of a fairly straightforward afternoon, out in the bush, sort of went pear-shaped. Straps were out, shackles were out, and we were doing quite a few recoveries as it was getting dark.
Now's the time to remember the very first words out of Nick Bonnell's mouth.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
He set the scene. We had no idea what these tracks were going to be like, and this is absolutely awesome. The team are tired, we're all cold and filthy. We've got another recovery, and we've done so well to get the Isuzu this far. I hear it's only a couple of 100 metres to the main road. Fingers crossed, let's get through this last recovery. After a tough escape from the Barrington Tops the evening before, we wanted to finish our trip on a high. And thanks to the Isuzu dealer network and Isuzu Rutherford, the broken CV was replaced in under 2 hours, and we were back on the tracks and ready for one more challenge. You reckon this will cut through across to the other track?
Yeah, of course it will.
Right guys, we're taking a right onto what looks like an interesting track.
It's been an awesome trip. Had Jimmy, which I've done a fair bit of off-roading with over the years, Simon as well. And then we've had Nick along. Nick's been a newbie. It's been really good to see the enthusiasm and see him go from nervous as to tackle his first object to lapping up everything we've been able to throw at him.
Nick, what was your favourite part of this trip?
I think my favourite part was tackling that hill on the first day. That was awesome, to be behind the wheel and being guided up by Simon and the lads and making it to the top. I had no four-wheel drive experience at the start of the week, did not know what low range is. I do now. I know all the different buttons inside of four-wheel drive.
We're only 2 hours north of Sydney. If you're looking for a place close to home to come out, bring the family, this is the perfect spot. Just get out here with your mates, do exactly what we've done and have some laughs.
You promised us a great trip and you definitely delivered.
Yeah, it was certainly good, wasn't it, Simon? We didn't know what we were going to get, what to expect, but yeah, fun times.
I reckon the Isuzu did pretty well to get up those tracks as a standard vehicle.
Oh, it was unreal, wasn't it? To get a standard vehicle through there, it was good work.
Also great to see how well a set-up vehicle can do out here.
100%, 100%. Nick did really well as a driver. It's good to see someone who's never been out here before doing it, but obviously you see how well when you get an equipped vehicle, they just do it so much easier and safer. And good to be back with old mates as well.
Old mates, new mates, it was a sensational trip. Thank you so much for organising it, Nick.
Thank you, Simon. Good times.
Let's do it again soon.
Will do.